Amy from Plain and Not So Plain. I am here to talk today about homeschooling and why people homeschool. I guess I've been homeschooling for a really long time now. It's been over 15 years. So my oldest is graduated from college with a bachelor's degree. And so I guess I take for granted just the basics of schooling. So I thought I would do a little vlog each week on different topics pertaining to homeschool that might help somebody else decide whether they want to homeschool or not. So my first thing would be, why do people homeschool? And so a lot of people, it's going to rain here, because I can hear the rain, so we're under umbrellas, so we're safe. But why do people homeschool? People homeschool for a bunch of different reasons. My personal experience in homeschooling, the reason I started homeschooling was way back. My daughter was in school and I just did not like the way that she was being treated in school, and so I pulled her from school and started teaching her at home. But people do it for all kinds of reasons. One of the reasons would be religious convictions. You know, maybe they don't like what's being taught in the school system, whether it be evolution or different theories, and they would much rather teach their children a biblical, creation-based education, and that's fine. People do that. People do it for social situations. They don't want their children being in certain social situations. I know there's a lot of violence in schools. There's a lot of things that they're allowing with transgender and with different things like that. When they get into the teenage, all the things that go on. So I don't think I need to talk about that. I think everybody kind of knows what's going on there. People do it for their family values. You don't have to homeschool because you want to do it because you believe that that's what God wants to do for your family. You do it just because you want a good, wholesome education for your children. You want them to learn that family is important and not school, and so those kind of situations. People also do it for educational excellence. Maybe you would think that you are going to do a much better job than they can do in the public school education, and that is very true nowadays. It's very hard to find a good teacher that is really dedicated to the classroom, because the government makes it hard for the teachers to make any money. People also do it because special needs. Maybe you have a child that maybe it's, maybe a physical handicap or something that you feel that you could be able to do better at home, and that's great. That's a great thing for a parent to take on. Maybe your child has like ADD or something, and most schools will just put them in a group and teach them this way, and you know that yourself can teach them in a better way by zoning in on how they best learn. There's so many different ways. Sometimes I know, like, we live in an area and there are a lot of minorities, different ethnic backgrounds, and I know a lot of people get shunned that way, and that's unfortunate that they do that in society. So they homeschool so their children will have a good education. All good reasons why you can homeschool. There's a variety of different reasons. So is it legal to homeschool your children? Yes, it is legal to homeschool your children. You have the right as an American to educate your child in the home. Lots of different resources online. The best thing would be to go to the Homeschool Legal Defense Association website, hslda.org, I believe, and they have tons of information. They will you can click on the state that you're living in, and they'll give you the rules and the laws. Don't be afraid that there'll be like requirements like testing or certain things you have to submit. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. It sounds big, but it's not. It's really not a big deal to test your children. It's not a big deal to do all that. We'll talk about that eventually as the vlogs go on. And then what about socialization? People think that your child is going to be, my favorite, I think there's a website that I've seen the banner before, caution weird, unsocialized homeschoolers. And so because homeschoolers get a bad rep because people say they're at home all day long, they're not going to know how to get into the realm of the world and talk and socialize with people, and that's such a fault. So yes, I understand exceptions to the rule. I understand that there are parents that do wrong and do bad things to their children and don't get them out with other people, and they don't teach them the way they should be. They take advantage of that, but very rare. That happens in the public school system as well. But there is so many opportunities as a homeschooler. They even have regular schools called co-ops that you can take your children to and learn with other homeschoolers and be taught and things like that. So there's so much, going to the local library and meeting up with different friends. There's so many different ways for your child to get socialization. And I know that I've also read many statistics, and you could go research them yourself online, about how homeschoolers perform best. I think there's a whole site that they talk about how a homeschooler does and how a public school education child does, and how they perform better in the workplace because they know what's expected of them for work. They're taught that at a young age at home, and there's no need to just teach them school and then when they're 18 they have to get a job. They learn it at a young age at home through homeschooling. They also perform better in the workplace because they're taught respect, they're taught all those things when they're at home. It's a little loud here, my neighbor's driving by. And so lots of different questions about homeschooling. So I hope that we can answer them and get through them here in this series. So I look forward to doing the second part. Have a wonderful day.